What we're going to do in this video is pair our router with a third-party DNS server. And the reason that we might want to do that is so that we gain a more granular control over the content that comes into our network. You can block websites or even add spam and even block malware and things before they reach your network. So let's go to Basic Network, and you'll notice that next to Static DNS, these are set to 0. And currently what that means is that I'm receiving my DNS resolution from the ISP, or I'm currently using Comcast, and so Comcast is my DNS server. And the challenge with that is that sometimes content gets through that I don't really want to get through, and I don't have any control over what Comcast resolves for me. So one way to get around that is to go to opendns.com and set up an account. And once you're in here, I've already got my account set up. And by the way, you only get one network with a free account, and that's all I'm using because that's all I need. But once you set up your account, all you have to do is add a network and then go to Network, Advanced Settings. And the first thing that you want to do is ensure that Enable Dynamic IP is enabled. And once you have that done, go back to your router and navigate to Basic DDNS. And under the Dynamic DNS option, and this can be number 1 or number 2, it doesn't matter. So if you are using, if you're resolving a public domain to your network, you can use either one. I'll scroll down and select OpenDNS, and my username is learntomato@gmail.com, and the password and my network is my network. And you'll notice right here, my current DNS is 75, 75, 75, 75. And this looks like it's all one number, but it's actually not. This is another DNS server. And again, these are coming from my current ISP, and that's not what I want. So what you have to do is select Use as DNS, and then select Force Next Update. Scroll down and click Save. And there we have it. Our current DNS server is now been resolved to OpenDNS, and we know that we can go back to OpenDNS and begin configuring the things that we need to configure. Once your DNS servers have been updated within the router, you can go back to OpenDNS, and you have some options here. And I'm not going to cover all of these options because I'm sure you can figure out much of what's going on here. But the first thing I would recommend doing is going to the Security tab and enabling the malware and phishing protection. After you've done that, you can go to the Web Content Filtering section. And from here you have the option to choose your level of filtering: high, moderate, low, and custom. And custom will give you a lot of options where you can select various categories. In this case, I'm going to select none to keep things simple. You'll also notice where it says Manage Individual Domains. This is a very handy feature. You'll notice that I have things like Contera, IntelliText, DoubleClick. These are all advertising sites that I really don't care to see on my network. And this helps to keep a lot of the ad spam down and just overall improve my computer experience in browsing the internet. But using the Facebook example, when we were trying to configure that on our router to block that, we were having a little bit of trouble, and that's what I wanted to show you right now. So for example, you can select Always Block or Never Block. In this case, I'm going to always block Facebook.com. And I'll click Add Domain and block Facebook.com, just the individual domain, or I'd rather block categories of websites that include Facebook. I just want to block the individual domain and click Confirm. The domain will be added, and it will take about 3 minutes to update. So I'll pause the video and I'll show you in just a moment how that works. Okay, it's been a few minutes since we set up our domain filter, so let's see how this affected our network. Let's open up a browser and we'll type Facebook.com. And that domain is being blocked. It says, sorry, but Facebook.com is blocked on this network. Well, what happens if we type HTTPS and go to Facebook that way? It says this is probably not the site you were looking for. You attempted to reach Facebook.com, but instead you actually reached a server identifying itself as OpenDNS.com. So OpenDNS is taking precautions to take care of us here. And even if the user selects Proceed anyway, they're still going to be faced with a block. Now, I don't want you to get too confident with this website block because, as I said earlier, there are multiple ways to block websites and even get around these things. For example, if your user knows how to use a VPN, they can tunnel their network to another one and access the website that way. Alternatively, they could change the host file on the machine that they're using. And this isn't really a tutorial on how to change or how to block websites using multiple methods, but rather to show you how people are getting around it so that you can prevent them from doing so. So I'll see you in the next video.